Hello everybody, it's Kadzowe with Kadzowe for Africa. In this video, I am going to share with you how Africans experience America. Are you ready for this? If you're interested in this information, stay tuned. So, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble, and this conversation is one of many that I have had with my African American friends and my Caucasian American friends, because the number one question that a lot of people keep asking is that what is our take? What is my take as an African in America? And what does that mean? And so I'm going to share with you 3 to 4 pieces of my experience in America. And if you are African and you happen to be watching this, please go ahead and comment. I know you guys have been so gracious with my Ancestry videos, participating and providing a wealth of education that keeps us all together. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to get right to it. The first and one of the key things that is really fundamental in my experience as an African in America is the whole predominance of race versus class. I can't even tell you how, coming in from Africa, for example, we have a very classist society. Very classist. So if you happen to be born privileged into a certain social economic class, then your life is actually really, really different than other people who are born in other socioeconomic classes. Now, the biggest difference that I noticed in the United States is that race supersedes all that. So it was something that I had to learn. And it was really, really interesting, because I'll share with you some examples that my friends found actually really, really interesting. So for example, when I first came to the United States, I was followed in a high-end department store. Now, poor me, I am thinking that I am being followed because obviously in Africa we have a lot of servitude. So I was actually really happy, because here was somebody who was going to be able to carry all my clothes, because I didn't want to carry everything. So I'd pick up something and I'd give it to that person to hold it, and they're like, "Can we take it for you to the counter?" And of course, years later, I found out that not everybody's followed in stores. And I know that was an interesting experience. And then, another thing about that is obviously the reality of learning and being able to understand things for what they really are. It's not really a naivety. It's just that when you come from a culture where race is not predominant, then you default into other things. So, for example, when I go into situations, I don't want to say you don't want to see color, because it's not that you don't see it. It's just that you don't automatically look into it as a method of filtering a situation. So, for example, for the longest time, if I went into a place and somebody who had an attitude of a different race towards me, I automatically would not default to because it's the color of my skin and how it's perceived. Rather, I would default more into the person's probably having a bad day, or, oh my gosh, that person has issues, has nothing to do with me. And I think that for the most part, that has really helped, because it could have been the case. But to be honest, there are also some situations where the color of your skin does come into place. So again, the whole thing of, race versus social class is one of the biggest things that I had to learn. The second thing, this is really, and I think all Africans, tell me Africans if you agree with this one, is the fact that everybody thinks that we live in mud huts and we're poor and we're desperate and we're broke. Far from the truth. I will share this with you. The whole transition of an African into America is about the whole mentality of being in the land of opportunity. And so for many of us, regardless of social class, our families team up together to help us be able to realize the American dream. Like, for example, in my case, I actually lived in a city. And where I went to school, I actually found it to be very, very country and very, very backward, a little bit. My parents actually thought that that was the best place for me to focus on my studies. And I'm like, I need to go to New York City because I can't stand how much country. You get the point. But again, we do have cities, we have, different backgrounds. And even though we may not be very, very wealthy, we do come from families that sustain us. In fact, in my country, we have something that we call the Harambe system, which is where people get together and gather funding and support so that their kids could be able to get an education in the developing countries. And for me and for many others, that respect for education, that respect for a better life is what brought us to the United States. We are far from the poverty that they show you on television. The third and last thing I will share about my experience as an African in America or the United States is this. We as Africans find education extremely easy. We will do anything for it. I mean, you give us a book, you give us an opportunity to learn, you provide us a scholarship, and we got it. We got it. We love it. We crave it. In fact, in a lot of African households, every parent really is still thinking of their student, their child rather, getting into the traditional careers of medicine, law, and you kind of have to explain if you want to go into areas of art and areas that, are probably not going to be as lucrative. And so we have had to do a lot of educating to our parents to let them know that it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is the passion. But yes, education is key. And so when we come to the United States, we absolutely thrive in it. And so I've always loved how the United States has a robust system of higher education. And in fact, if you watch my videos, a lot of it is really just to help understand what that's like. And so part of my experience in the United States has been rewarding in terms of understanding that whole realm and how it works. And so, folks, that's a snapshot of my experiences as an African in the United States. And so if you, again, are watching this and you're an African, let me know about your experience. What are some of the things that you've had to kind of struggle with? And if you are an American watching this video, let's engage into the conversation. What is your view of Africa? And what are some of those things that you've always wanted to know and always wanted to learn? Thank you again for watching all my Ancestry videos. I thought that I would revive these videos again because a lot of you are reaching out, asking questions. There's a lot of engagement and I welcome all your ideas. Thank you for watching. And remember, life is full of opportunities. And when we educate each other, the world becomes more global and we are one. Until my next Ancestry video. Bye.